Hi, in this fifth mini video, I will provide you some information to be able to answer to question number 5 of the game, How does our planet work climates? Here is Hélène Gaonac'h. Question number 5 is, what is the CO2 concentration today? CO2, carbon dioxide, is one of the greenhouse gases. We will first explain what is the greenhouse effect, and I will start with the natural greenhouse gas effect. The Earth is surrounded by atmosphere, which is today mostly composed of nitrogen and oxygen. Other gases and particles are also found, but in very small quantities. But they play a significant role on the greenhouse effect and therefore have strong impacts on the energy balance of the Earth, meaning directly the average temperature. Solar radiation travels through space, then through the Earth's atmosphere. About a third of it returns to space. Nearly 20% are absorbed by atmosphere and clouds. Around half of the solar light reaches the Earth's surface that warms up. The surface itself emits energy, thermal infrared energy. This thermal energy travels through the atmosphere, a fraction being trapped by gases such as CO2 or water vapor. Another fraction escapes in space. As you can observe on the figure, there exists a balance between the amount of energy coming into the atmosphere and the amount of energy escaping from atmosphere. The trapped energy is the one warming the Earth's surface and that allowed in the past the emergence of life on our planet. Without the natural greenhouse effect, the global temperature of the Earth would be minus 15 Celsius degrees. With this effect, it is on average plus 15 Celsius degrees. Therefore, greenhouse gases represent a very small proportion of atmospheric gases, but they have a significant influence on the global average temperature on the Earth. Natural emissions of greenhouse gases are produced by volcanic eruptions with emissions of CO2, SO2, water vapor. Humans and animals also produce greenhouse gases by flatulence with CH4. Wetlands emit methane and carbon dioxide. More recently, since the industrial period in 1780, the greenhouse effect also had an anthropogenic source coming from human activities. Let's take again the figure. The sun emits light that travels through space and atmosphere with some absorption, about 20%, and some reflection to space. Then the terrestrial surface emits, in turn, thermal infrared radiation. But in this case, the proportion of greenhouse gases is larger due to human activities, and less thermal energy escapes in space. The increase in greenhouse gases from human origin creates a disequilibrium in the energy balance. To restore this energy balance, the average terrestrial temperature will rise above 15 degrees. Measurements made by scientists exhibit indeed a global warming. Look at the graph on the left. The blue curve corresponds to one of the greenhouse gases concentration, CO2. We observe that since the year 1000, the concentration has been about 280 parts per million. That is 280 molecules of CO2 over 1 million of air molecules. By about the year 1800, the concentration has increased and even accelerated. This is shown by the slope increasing. The temperature in Celsius degrees, presented in red on the graph, also has increased. The CO2 concentration reached a new value in May 2013 of 400 parts per million. This measurement has been made at the Mauna Loa Observatory in Hawaii. Greenhouse gases emissions in the world are produced by power stations and industrial processes. Transportation fuels also represent a large portion. In Quebec, greenhouse gas emissions are first produced by transportation. The increase in greenhouse gases is directly related to the rise of temperatures on the Earth. Such increases, however, are not constant, are not equal over all regions of the Earth. Polar regions are warming faster and stronger than the other regions, and the Arctic is particularly affected. One of the biggest reasons is the albedo effect, which accelerates the melting of the ice. The albedo effect is caused by the presence of snow and ice in the region. Let's explain the principle. When the solar energy reaches a white surface, most of it is reflected. When the surface is darker, on the other hand, the incident radiation will be partly or completely absorbed and will warm the surface and below. Oceanic waters or land becoming uncovered by ice and snow will warm up. New warm currents will disturb the oceanic circulation and will accelerate the melting of the remaining icy surface. So this albedo effect is added to the increase of air temperature and accelerates the melting of the ice. From 1850 to 2012, the average temperature on the Earth increased, according to scientists from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, by 0.85 Celsius degrees. They consider that the rising will continue due to the increase in concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And they are planning the total temperature increase between 1850 and 2100 to become 2 or eventually 5 Celsius degrees, depending on the selected climate model. Impacts will be numerous on the planet, sometimes positive, other times negative, but it will affect the entire society. Here is the end of the 5th mini video. You can find all the videos about this climate game on the blog at the address jeuclimat.blogspot.ca. Have a nice day.